Bueno, esta tarde y mañana por la tarde lo que vamos a...
Well, this afternoon and tomorrow morning we're going to do small presentations on the working groups for technology exchange. In technology exchange there are 4 working groups, and in my case I'm going to introduce to you the technologies which have been exchanged regarding groundless crops, and we analyze the needs we had, and of course they are very different depending on the area in Europe where we work. For example, in the Mediterranean region, most of work is done in an open system. There's no reuse of wastewater. So there's the need to deal with those effluents in order to prevent pollution from happening. Also, it is very important to establish works in cooperating centers so producers see how entering into a closed system is not that difficult, so they can count on useful tools, so they may enter into semi-closed systems. And also we know that in substrates the roots are present in a small volume, so producers try to make sure that there's no water missing. And this is usually done by increasing the amount of water used. So there's an effort needed there to adapt water needs to the real needs of the crop, or water supply, excuse me. And the supply of nutrients is usually based on personal experience. So we know we need tools which help us doing an estimate of the needs for nutrients our crop have. In northern areas, northern regions where wastewater is reused, the needs are more in the ground of the treatment of the effluents and the disinfection of the water. And as Elisa was saying, if we enter the website of Fertinoa, we can enter into technology exchange, and you may see color files, color forms from working groups, for example, ground crops, groundless crops, soilless crops. And if we select a soilless crop, we may see that looking to the green forms, green sheets, there's an exchange, there has been an exchange of technology with crops produced over a substrate. And you may see examples of that technology both in northern and southern Spain. If we click one of these forms, one of these sheets, we will get into the technology exchange, the objectives, also the situation, where it was done, what kind of crop was it used with, and this updated as the work was being done. And the forms are being modified, exchanged, results are updated, and there you have another form. And participants in soilless production, with them we have been working both in vegetable and pot system, open and closed systems, in terms of the use of lead sheets. We've also worked in glass greenhouses, in plastic greenhouses and outdoor farms, and the Fertinoa partners, as you may see, in the Mediterranean area. in the Intia, and in Thirst and Italy, and then in Central Eastern Europe, NIAF in the UK, CATIF, and ICW in the Netherlands. I just want to explain to you the main aim of the exchange of this technology. You may see it in the posters outside, and you can ask us any doubt you may have. For example, in KT in France, they worked in moisture sensors, wireless moisture sensors, and also in lysimeters for the activation of irrigation in substrate crops, in substrate farming. So the efficiency of these sensors was assessed in order to better understand, to better interpret the information produced by the sensors, so it can be better explained to the final users. In this case, our colleague Marin Guerret will later on speak about the subject of this showcase, the lysimeter balance. Also in KT, different types of disinfection of the drainage solutions have been experienced and tested. Ultraviolet light has been used, also biodisinfection, the ability for disinfection, the cost of the equipment, etc. And what has been dealt with is the DEXIS technologies and application. People spoke about it yesterday. It's an exchange with a wild node in order to gather information on irrigation needs and nitrogen needs. In this case, in Zamato, the conditions in the area of the Ebro River. In the case of Cersa in Italy, they used it in flower pots, also in greenhouses, and they assessed a solvent mat for the absorption of nitrate in order to prevent the ground for taking it up. Also, they designed a tool on good farming practices so they could prevent that pollution from happening, and involving the government, so a series of rules can be prepared so they can be easily followed by farmers in order to reduce that pollution in the soil. In the case of the Netherlands, in CW, they assess the airlift technology. It means injecting oxygen in the nutritious solution, and they assessed that the aeration, the oxygenation of the circulating solution in order to look into the improvement of the crop.
And in the case here in Almeria, we have assessed a technology which is called Clean Leach, and it is used for capturing the nitrates in the solutions. This technology is based on artificial linked to a source of carbon. So the mean is generated to see the capacity of the nitrification in the case of the crop in substrating area of India.
Y para acabar,
And to finish, in United Kingdom, sensors, they have been working with sensors for a wider precision and a more precise adjustment of irrigation, amount of irrigation. They've done it with coconut fiber, where they've used a whole battery of sensors, and to see how efficient that was for the saving of water. And these sensors were used for humidity. They were wireless sensors, to get rid of all that network of cables with sensors and see how efficient the system could be. Now Marine Garret will explain a little the exchange of technology of the liximeter balance.
En esta conferencia hemos
In this conference, we have left the door open for the works of other colleagues who are not partners of Fertinova. In this case, Teresa Lago from the University of Almería. She will present a piece of work on crops, on a certain kind of crops. And finally, the company MG, that's one of the companies which will be visited in the second tour, and she will explain what this NGS system is like.